Ep906 edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code MMA SGPN.
Heidi ho, DeGenerinos. Welcome to episode 906 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. The person I was going to dedicate it to, I can't even find his comment now. There's someone that commented on YouTube saying that first time watching, and he's going to make as part of his daily,
I saw that too.
Daily routine. Yeah, and now it's disappeared. Probably because he watched our UFC Paris picks, and now he's like,
they weren't good. They weren't good.
But we're back anyway. That's Daniel Gumber-Vreeland. I'm Mr. Worldwide, Jeff Fox, as of today. Some positive did come out of the weekend. I beat Gumby again 3 weeks in a row. I've squeaked by you. It hasn't been big wins, but it's been wins nonetheless. But Gumby's still pretty much doubled up on me money wise. But yeah, a lot of knockouts last night, but not a lot of our plays weren't knockouts. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was weird.
If you want to talk about it.
Yeah, it was weird. We don't have to talk about it. This is an LFA preview video.
Exactly.
LFA
you deserve a respect.
217, which is coming at us from the Mystic Lake Casino.
Mystic Lake Casino.
Yeah, which is always a fun place. They do fights. So like obviously we want to give them our full attention. But yeah, weird night of fights. We hit that right off the bat. We hit that inside the distance prop on Sam Page. And then it was downhill from there.
Yeah, it was, but that's okay. We'll talk more UFC in a couple of days. Even though Noche UFC looks like just at first glance looks like a UFC Apex type card. We got a good main event, and then the rest of it's kind of I'm not sure. I'll
like Rob Font.
Yeah, Rob Font's fine.
You keep doubting Rob Font every time he fights. So.
Rob Font, David Martinez is a fire co-main event. Is it for you?
I think it's fun. David Martinez is fun as hell to watch. Even if I don't think he can win that fight, which spoiler alert, I don't think he can. He's not in boring fights.
Yeah, it's not a star-studded card, to say the least. But we'll see. Tatiana Suarez is buried on the prelims now, so how have the mighty fallen? Unless they change it, maybe she's getting moved up. But no UFC, no more UFC. It's LFA 217. They're going to catch up to the UFC soon with these numbered events. So UFC 217, as Gumby said, it's going down to the Prior Lake Casino in Prior Lake, Minnesota. We're going to dive into the place after I remind you, free roll football contest is back. It's free to enter, and you're picking every NFL game against the spread. $3,000 to first place, $4,000 if you're a Patreon subscriber. So check it out at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. So you're behind the 8 ball a little bit now, but just pull off a couple hot weeks so you can catch up to everybody else. Plus 25% off everything in our merch store. That would be sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Promo code football at checkout, 25% off there. Lots of good MMA gambling podcast merch there. So check it out. All right. LFA 217 is McKee versus Nobre. We have had a last-minute replacement in the main event about a week out from this here fight card. We had a lot of changes to this card. Stephen Asplin was supposed to be on this card, but he's fighting on Contender Series on Tuesday instead.
Sadly, he's not on this card, but it's like delightfully that he's not on this card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a positive thing. Christian Strong wasn't that strong after all. He pulled out of his fight. So yeah, we had a few fights that we lost, but we're gonna have fun with it regardless. It's going down this coming Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. UFC Fight Pass as per usual. And as I said, Mystic Lake Casino, if you want to go check it out in Prior Lake, Minnesota. 15 fights. This still have a packed fight card with a very familiar name in the co-main event, making his MMA debut. So we'll get to that in short time. Let's tell you about a couple of fighters on the here fight card. We're going down the card because I think Tapology's got this one a little out of order from what LFA claims the fight card's going to be. Where is this fight, Gummy? We're doing Figlak first, right? Figlak and Crosby.
Those guys fight in Cage Warriors. So
those guys fight in Cage Warriors because I scrolled down too far. We are going to Hart and Turner first.
It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
We're almost 1,000 episodes in, and I still don't have my act together. All right, going Joey Hart. We've talked about him before. He's fighting Christian Turner. They're both from the United States of America. Perhaps you've heard of that place. They're fighting at 170. LFA 217, no odds yet for this, but LFA odds are readily available and usually midweek. I'll tell you about Turner first. The Titan. We got the Hitman versus the Titan. The Titan Turner, 8-2, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. 0-2 in LFA. He has won 5 straight though, and gone 5-2 over his last 7. He's won 3 straight via finish. So he's on a nice little roll here. Let's see, heads back to LFA. He has not lost since February 2023. He went 1-0 in PFL, Contender Series, I think that was, or whatever they call it, Challengers, I think they call it. He used to fight at 155, 5 years younger than Hart. The Hitman Hart is 7-3 with 7 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. 3-1 in LFA, 1-2 over his last 3, 5-2 over his last 7. Won his last bout via TKO. 0-1 in Contender Series because he lost to
Benjamin Bennett, who didn't get signed because that fight was ridiculously boring, and I actually think Hart won it. Which I think, if I'm remembering correctly, too, Dana White was like, I'm pretty sure Hart won that fight. And then, but he's like, neither of them deserve a contract.
Yep. He's fight at 185. He's 3 inches taller than Turner. He's got 4-inch reach advantage on him. Over to you.
So this one's an interesting one as far as the odds go. I think the 2 losses for Joey Hart in a row before he rattled off that most recent win probably soured people on him enough that Christian Turner will come in here as the favorite. I think it'll be lined closely, though, because there's an age advantage on Turner's side. There's a size advantage on Hart's side. Obviously, Hart's got kind of some of the uglier results recently, but I really don't think Turner is the type of guy who can like body Hart in the way that Hart has been losing. Hart lost to Benjamin Bennett because he got held against the cage for like 12 of the 15 minutes they were fighting. Anytime they were at range, he landed. Anytime he was, in a clinch situation in the middle of the cage, he was landing. Like, Joey Hart is fine as long as he's not being taken down, and Christian Turner doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who's going to like go in there and shoot 17 takedowns on him here. In fact, Christian Turner has kind of looked afraid of the clinch in his last couple of fights. Like, if you look at, I got some film on some of his regional fights, and when somebody entered the clinch with him, he like pushes away like violently, like very clearly just trying to get out of the clinch as quickly as possible. I don't know if he was worried about the takedown game of his opponent, but he fought as such. And, again, I think Hart's going to be a slight dog, maybe like plus 135, plus 145. And I like him in this fight because he's got a lot of range here. The range is clearly going to play in his favor. Sometimes he doesn't do so well when he's getting rushed, but Christian Turner is like kind of a one and done guy when it comes to punches. He'll throw one leg kick, he'll throw one overhand right, but he like won't follow it up with anything. As a result, like he's kind of there to be countered, and I think Joey Hart can manipulate that. As I mentioned, Turner doesn't like the clinch. Joey Hart loves the clinch. He throws really nice knees in the clinch because of how tall and lanky he is. And then Joey Hart, on top of that too, like as I mentioned, he lost those 2 fights with like bad wrestling and stuff like that. In his most recent fight, it almost looked like he went in trying to prove that he's figured that part of his game out, because he was the aggressor in the wrestling in that. He had some back control, a body triangle with those crazy long legs. And I think like maybe he could use that if he needed it against Turner. Like, I don't think he needs to, because I think he's longer and better in the clinch. And I think Turner will wind up in the clinch a little bit too. And then, but he's got that backup plan too, which makes me like him even more if he does in fact here come in as an underdog. So I'm not selling on Joey Hart yet. I kind of still believe that he's got a lot of potential, and I'm going to go with him here in this one.
All right, only 19% of topologists agree with you, Gumby. So
19%.
Yeah, maybe that
might be like a 250 then, instead of a 135. No, but maybe he's a Contender Series guy. I just had that.
Yeah,
whole,
exactly.
Do you know that that gif of that girl going?
Yes.
No,
yes.
Yeah, but I just did that about Joey Turner's odds. So yeah.
As one does, yes. All right. We're moving on up. Gummy's turning into a meme before our eyes. We're sticking at 170. Bobby Lee, Nikita, Kulshin. Guess which one's Russian? So America versus Russia. We'll tell you about the Russian first. Kulshin. He is 7-0, 1 knockout, 1 submission. So not much finishing ability with this guy. He's won 4-0 in LFA. So 4 straight there. Used to fight at 155. He's 4 years younger than Lee. He's got 2-inch reach advantage over him. Lee is 15-9, 3 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 4 times, 6-5 in LFA. You don't usually see records that big in LFA. Guys don't usually stick around that long. Win, loss,
he stuck around, but then it's like multiple stints too. Like, he had the Bellator fights in between there, and he bounced all around.
He keeps coming back. Win, loss, win over his last 5 fights. He won his last bout via TKO. That was back in June of 2024. So he's been out of action for a bit. Regional champion, 0-3 in Bellator, RIP. He's missed weight before at 155 because he used to fight up at 155 or down at 155, excuse me. 2015 Pro MMA debut. So a veteran versus a kind of an up-and-comer, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say Kulshin will come in here as like a negative 400 favorite, like a plus 325, plus 350 return on Bobby Lee. And look, I'm just gonna say this here. Bobby Lee is the type of guy who I usually take as like a wild underdog on a regional card. I'm not gonna take him here. I'm gonna take Kulshin, but like he's a gritty wrestler who like takes down people far more than you expect him to every single time he fights. He's a grinder. Like he's just like a real gritty dude who like finds ways to win. I mean, he's found ways to win 15 times. I wouldn't say he won 15 times. He found ways to win 15 times because like that's just the type of fighter he is. Like he digs deep and he's a grinder. But I'll say this, like when he wrestles for too long and people counter that wrestling, he gets really tired. And if you go back and you look at, 9 losses he had, a lot of them, he like gets that wrestling going early. And as long as the other guy gets back up, he gets tired. Or if that guy stalls him out a couple of times, he gets tired. And Kulshin is just so much better of a striker than he is. Bobby Lee looks like, well, I hate to use like one of his most recent fights as an example because I think he was fighting on a slip and slide. It was like one of those regional mats that like get a little sweaty and like all of a sudden the fighters are falling it was like kind of like that. He threw a leg kick and it just like spun right around and fell down. So like I don't want to use that as an example, but like he does look off balance a lot when he's throwing and he's slow, and like Kulshin's gonna look so much better there. And then like, Bobby Lee's path to victory is shoot 1 billion takedowns and get Kulshin down and hold him down and hope he doesn't get back up. And like, look, Kulshin went in and out wrestled Cedric Gunnison in, what was that, 2 fights ago? I can't remember if that was LFA or CFFC. Was that LFA? I think you said he fought a bunch of times in a row in LFA. But Gunnison is usually a CFFC guy. But whatever, he fought Cedric Gunnison, and like in that fight, he was the one holding Gunnison down. He was the one, like out wrestling him. And when like Gunnison tried to wrestle early, he had all the answers for it. And like, I think Bobby Lee's probably in the same realm of Cedric Gunnison in terms of wrestling. And like, I mean, his cardio is worse and he's like not ready for a deep fight. So I'm going to say Nikita Kulshin here, but I'm also going to say before you just throw him in an LFA parlay with like a whole bunch of other favorites you really love. And I've got a wild lightning round here. I'm deep on this lightning round because there's so many names I liked and I couldn't not mention. But like, before you throw him in a favorites parlay with all those guys, like just pump the brakes a little bit because Bobby Lee doesn't suck, despite his like record kind of looking like a journeyman. And like, I don't know, I could see him like surviving. So I'm gonna go with Kulshin. I think he's the right play, but like caution if it is a big old number.
All right. And it was LFA he fought Gunnison in case you need to know.
Gunnison came on over. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. We got a couple winning players. We're going to get you some more in a sec. I have to remind you that we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie's your place to bet on football and everything else. Their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out the LFA lines. They will be there shortly after you hear these words. So go to head to mybookie.ag. Promo code MMASGPN. For 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. So that's mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. And Rhythm, RITHMM. NFL is back on Rhythm. Last season, Rhythm was 76-66 against the spread and 22-19 on over-unders. But they really shined on player props. They went 13-5 on Tyreek Hill props, 31% return on investment. But it's not just football. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA golf, and college football. And Rhythm has just introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you can win $1,000. I'm going to ask Gummy for NFL Week 1 again. Yes, I am, because we have time. Tomorrow
we still got time. Week 1's still on tomorrow. I'm going to take the Vikings. I'll take them over the Bears. I know people are jacked up about Ben Johnson and the Bears, but I still think the Vikings got a little bit more firepower. And while everybody's getting jacked up on Ben Johnson joining up over there, I'm still feeling the JJ McCarthy train. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here in week 1.
All right. Head over to Rhythm, see if they agree with Gumby. You can get a 7-day free trial by going to sports@gamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Once again, it's spelled RITHMM Rhythm. All right. We're going back to the mystic Lake Casino in Prior Lake, Minnesota. We have got a women's flyweight belt next. Cheyanne Bowers, Maritza, Sanchez, a couple of Americans going at it. And let's break it down by telling you about Sanchez first. She is 6-2, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. She's been submitted twice. This is her LFA debut. She's won 6 of 7, but she did get submitted in her last bout. She's fight at 135. She's 4 years younger than Bowers. She's got 2 inches of height advantage over her, 6-inch reach advantage. So she's going to be the longer fighter in this matchup. Bowers is the boss. 6-2, 1 knockout, 4 submissions. She's been submitted once. 5-2 in LFA, and the former champion until she ran into a Canadian and lost her bout. She's won 6 of 7 as well. Won her last bout via submission. Used to fight up at a weight class at 135. It would be bantamweight as well, just like Sanchez. So similar resumes for these two ladies, but I wouldn't say not similar fighting styles or opponents.
Oh, definitely not similar fighting styles. I'm going to say Bowers negative 275 is the line here. First of all, former champ. Granted, it was interim champion until those belts could be unified. But like, there's a real argument she beat Shannon Clark in that fight. In fact, when it went to the judges' scorecards, I kind of thought they were going to give it to Bowers. I did have a play in on Clark, so I was glad Clark eventually got the nod. But Bowers was right there with her. She's toe to toe. She's like, in my opinion, Cheyanne Bowers is UFC level. Like, you could sign Cheyanne Bowers to the flyweight division right now, and there are women in the UFC she would beat, and I think she would beat handedly. Maritza Sanchez. I want to say Martiza, but it's Maritza. Maritza Sanchez. She's got really fun hands, right? Like she throws really, really well. Her boxing is definitely better than Bowers. Like she should be able to piece Bowers up on the feet. The problem is she just can't get a fighter off her when it happens. Even if you go back to her last win, she got pinned against the cage. 10 seconds into the fight, she was there for 2 or 3 minutes. While a not so great wrestler was trying to drag her to the ground. And, she got stalled there a bunch of times in that fight. And then you look at her fight she fought Kate Bosick last, right? We've talked about Kate Bosick on the show. I love Kate Bosick. She pieced up Kate Bosick on the feet, hurt her real bad, then was in a clinch and had no idea what to do with the grappling of Kate Bosick. Wound up having her knee turned backwards basically in that fight. She got knee barred and completely inverted her knee. I don't know how she's coming back from it 6 months later. It looked like there was major structural damage to that knee in that fight. So maybe that's a concern too. I don't know how stable she is there. But the bottom line is she just can't hang with a super physical fighter and good grapplers. And Cheyanne Bowers checks both those boxes. Cheyanne Bowers is incredibly physical for the flyweight division. She's so strong. And then in addition to being just as strong as she is, you look at her work on the mat, who was the Russian judo black belt that she just submitted? She wasn't even there. Bowers is nasty on the mat with her submissions, but even more nasty with her physical position and her physicality. So for me, this one's Bowers. She's going to be a big favorite. If I'm putting together a big favorites parlay on the regional card, I know a lot of our listeners have said that they like doing that. Leave Kulshin out, put Bowers in. That's my advice to you. Cheyanne Bowers, the right kind of big favorite to have in one of those massive parlays. Kulshin, the wrong guy.
Veronica Borisova is who you're thinking of, right?
Yeah.
The Russian
Borisova
that she beat? Yeah.
Yep.
That was for the interim belt. Yep. All right. We're to the co-main event already. Gable Steveson. Don't call him Stevenson.
I'm glad you got that right. I almost prepped you ahead of time because I know a couple of people who have said Stevenson, and wrestling Twitter gets on people for putting it in that name. It's Steveson. Yeah.
Yes, it's Steveson, but this is more like a Mandela effect. I always think it is Stevenson. Braden Peterson. He is fighting in his debut. This is a heavyweight bout, 3 5-minute rounds if they need it. Let's tell you about Peterson first. Blood Axe, all one word, naturally. That would be a good name, Blood Axe. He's 1-0 with 1 knockout. He used an axe. This is his LFA debut. He's 2 inches taller than Steveson. Oh, see, I typed Steveson in my spreadsheet, so I told you.
Of course it is.
It's in my head. Yeah, just like for Rodolfo Bellato, I always write Bellator every time. Steveson, 0-0. However, he's a gold medalist in wrestling. He's also a 3-time world champion at various age levels, basically all the way up. He's 12 years younger than Peterson, and that's pretty much all the data we have on him because he's not fought yet in an MMA cage.
You forgot his WWE developmental contract. Yeah,
he was in WWE, and then he quit that, and he was trying out for the NFL, and that didn't work out either. So now he's
it was weird. Like a ton of teams gave him contract or tryouts in the NFL, being like he ain't played football since high school or something like that.
That's what happened with Brock Lesnar too. People, they're like, look at this guy, he's a freak. Let's give him a try.
Yeah, and he is a freak. For those of you who don't know Gable Steveson, if he's not your cup of tea, or you don't watch wrestling, professional or amateur wrestling, like, or the Olympics or whatever, like, Gable Steveson is a freak. He's such a damn good wrestler. Obviously, whenever a wrestler of this caliber comes over to MMA, we ask the question, can the skills transfer? Can he blend his striking with the wrestling enough to make this matter? Can he use those skills when people know that's like all he wants to do, and when he gets punched in the face, right? Like, those are obviously all the questions. With that being said, he's negative 2,000 here, my guess, and maybe negative 3,000, and I'm still picking him to win.
2,500.
Oh yeah, I'm
2,500.
But it's funny that I'm saying that too, because last week on LFA I said Eduardo Dutra was going to win as part of my lightning round plays, and I'm like, it'll probably be a big favorite. Then he was minus 80,000 or 8,000. He was 80 to 1 to see him lose, and I'm like, maybe that's not worth throwing in a parlay, as the number won't even change. But look, I look and watch Braden Peterson, and like, they picked the right opponent for him to debut against, because like, he's a bigger guy, he's a chunky guy. And I watched his only pro fight. Oh no, it was one of his amateur fights. I couldn't find his pro fight. I went and watched one of his amateur fights. He's fighting a fellow chunky dude in that one, Chase something. But like, in that first round, the other guy backs him up against the cage and has just got him like held there in an over under, and he can't get out. And then the guy head and arm throws him like it's a flyweight women's fight. I was just like, that shouldn't happen at heavyweight. And if this guy right here is head and arm throwing you, Gable Steveson is going to pick you up and launch you out of that cage. Quite possibly literally. I don't know if that goes down as a no contest. He might want to think about not doing that, but I do think he has the ability to just pick this guy up and throw him out of the cage if he wants to. Royal Rumble style. I don't know. Royal Rumble rules count in regional MMA.
Maybe we've seen this happen before, haven't we? I think we've seen someone like push a guy up over the top. I think
the closest I've ever seen in a UFC fight is Johnny Hendricks fought this guy named Ricardo Funch. Do you remember Ricardo Funch? I
remember the name. I couldn't tell you much about him though.
So Ricardo Funch went, I think, 0-5 in the UFC somehow. It was 2 stints. He went 0-3 and then 0-2, I think.
Yeah.
He lost to like Dan Miller and Johnny Hendricks stuff. So like, decent opponents. He used to train like at the same gym as I did. I never rolled with him, but at the same gym as I did. But like, Johnny Hendricks damn near threw him out of the cage one time. He had him up in, like, there's like a freeze frame picture, and like his whole body is over the top of the cage. Steveson could do that here with a guy who weighs 265 pounds. I'm going Gable Steveson. Nowhere near at a number that you would consider actually playing.
But it'll be interesting. See how many fights it takes before. I'm sure the UFC obviously has interest.
Oh, I mean, next fall he'll be on Contender Series. I'm guaranteeing next fall he's on Contender Series. LFA will get him a win here. Maybe 2 more before then. 3-0 heavyweight on Contender Series next year.
Yep, there you go. And then they're going to make him fight multiple times, though, like they've done with the Bo Nichols of the world.
No, because he's a heavyweight, and he can already beat other heavyweights by being a good wrestler.
Exactly. It's true. All right, there's another winner for you, but don't. Do you throw him in a parlay, Gumby?
Would I throw Gable?
What's the point?
No, because it's not going to move it. Like, you might go from, if you got a parlay that's like plus 220, you're going to get like plus 221. You know?
Yeah. Math. It's math. All right. We're going to get to our main event, and then we're going to give you some fancy lightning round plays. Gumby promises there's lots to choose from there. Before we get to that, Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long. It's still summer. We got a couple more weeks. Giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also is a great place to play pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. I bet Gumby has a play for you in some sport of some sort.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go. Let's go baseball because I've been a little sick of giving NFL plays.
Yep. You're kind of tapped out there.
Yeah, I've pretty much hit everything I could possibly hit in the NFL. So let's go with my Atlanta Braves. They're playing Monday. They're playing the Cubs. Shota Imanaga on the mound, which obviously he's a scary facet. But I'm still, despite the fact that there's a scary dude on the mound, I'm going to go with the over on the total bases for Ha-Seong Kim. Since coming over to the Braves, he's been a little spark plug for them. An absolute bright side. He actually hit their first home run by a shortstop this year, which, by the way,
Oh my God.
they didn't have a shortstop home run this year, but, which is pretty brutal. But Ha-Seong Kim, bright flash for him. He's been hitting the crap out of the ball. Give me the higher than on his total bases on Monday.
All right. And listen to this. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our code and only our code MMASGPN. And we're still brought to you by a newish sponsor of ours, Novig, Novig, all one word. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig promo code SGPN. And to our main event, half of it fell out, but they patched it back up. It is a bantamweight bout. Mitchell McKee, United States. Pedro Nobre, he is from Brazil. They're fighting 3 5-minute rounds at bantamweight. Nobre is The Rock. I think that name's taken. 22-8-2 with 1 no contest, 12 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted once. Short notice debut in LFA. So warning lights and bells should be ringing in your head. 1-3 over his last 4, 4-6 over his last 10. That's not so hot either. He got TKO'd in his last bout. That was back in, he's not won since June 2023. He got a no contest in the UFC, 0-1 on the Ultimate Fighter, multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our shirt, get our merch. Remember, it's sportsgamblingpodcast.com, and the code is football. 25% off. Use fight at 125 and 145. 2009 Pro MMA debut, an inch of reach over McKee. McKee is merciless. McKee, 9-0 with 5 knockouts. He's 7-0 in LFA, 1-0 in Bellator RIP, 11 years younger than Nobre, 2 inches taller. Squash match, right?
I mean, kind of a little bit, but like Nobre's legit as hell. I mean, he had a UFC contract. It was the weirdest thing in history. You mentioned it was 1 no contest and nothing else. If I'm not mistaken, he was like elbowed in the back of the head by Yuri Alcantara. And Yuri got not DQ'd for it for some reason. And then they released Pedro Nobre, which is kind of how the UFC worked back then. Like if you weren't tough enough to keep fighting, they just release you. Because
Joe Silva, baby. Joe Silva didn't take any crap.
Yeah, Joe Silva was ruthless. Yeah, it was a long ass time ago. And that's kind of what I'm gonna say here about Pedro Nobre is like he's still got a lot of the same stuff that made him good all the way back in 2013 and like made him signable. Like he's hyper aggressive. His jiu-jitsu skills are pretty legit. 2 fights ago, he pulled off a heel hook that was like real slick. Like he's still got high level jiu-jitsu. He's still aggressive. His hands aren't slow. Like they've definitely lost a step, but they're like still kind of there. Like he's fast enough. The big problem is there's just nothing left on his defense. His chin is absolutely shot. Like the knockout from the last fight he had, it didn't even look like the guy hit him with the punch that made him all wobbly. And then he followed up and like he kind of hit him decent with the second punch, but it like the effect it had was like 80 times what you would have expected. And you can go back 2 more fights before that, before the heel hook, same thing. He's just kind of getting knocked out in ways that like, he's not old, right? But like the mileage is old. Like he is
32 fights.
Yeah, he's got a lot of miles on the tires and taken, he's been in wars. And so like I worry about that for him, obviously. And like he's a fun fight for Mitchell McKee because it's going to give him like name value and name recognition for a win. But like Mitchell McKee's the better fighter here, and he's probably going to be -400. He wouldn't be a bad guy to pair with Cheyanne Powers as part of that like big favorites parlay. He's real patient on the feet. He's real smart with what he works with. He's got some really nice wrestling and specifically his positional jiu-jitsu. Throws a really nice right hand. I wish he was like a little bit more aggressive, but actually that might be the best part about fighting Pedro Nobre here is like Nobre might turn it up for him and he'll have to respond to that. So maybe we'll see the best version of Mitchell McKee as a result of that. And I'm all about that. So yeah, Mitchell McKee, is he an MMA? He's an MMA lab guy, right? Am I remembering that right? I think
I
he's an
just was
MMA
on his
lab guy.
page. Let me
Um,
see.
but
No, Killcliff, it says.
oh, Killcliff. Well, that makes sense too. Like
Yeah.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
he has like really smart game planning every time he fights, and he fights within himself, which is like a key MMA lab trait. But like, I mean, I guess that could be a Killcliff thing too. Like Killcliff's not a bad gym. It's just like that's one of those big super gyms that I don't necessarily think of it having its own traits because it's got like 7 different units inside of it. Whereas like MMA lab is just like one cohesive unit. But bottom line, Mitchell McKee, smart guy, really good. Maybe not overwhelming with any particular skill set, but should be plenty to handle Pedro Nobre here.
Does he have much of a future? I see he's 27 already. He's only 9 fights in. I was going to ask you
That's
his
not
prospect.
bad at bantamweight. Like, I mean, like he probably needs. I mean, he's getting a main event here. He probably needs like an LFA title fight next to get him on a short list to be like a late call up. You know, this is the type of guy who I think you see in that like stretch when everybody's pulling out of fights and they need a featherweight real bad, and he's like, oh, I'm an LFA bantamweight champ or a bantamweight main eventer. Like, call me on up. And then he, you know, makes his debut that way.
Yep. All right. That is the main card picks. Let's give you a recap real quick. And then Gumby promises some bonus plays. We call that the lightning round. He's got McKee. He's got Steveson, not Stevenson this time. He's got Bowers. He has got Kulshin. He has got Hart. All right, lightning round. Zap, bam, boom, pow. What do you got for us? 10 fights to choose from.
So I told you 10 fights to choose from. I got 4 lightning round plays. That's how many guys I like.
People complain.
Yeah, that's how many I like on this prelim. So I like Kelton Sneeve. I know we've talked about Kelton Sneeve before on
Canadian.
here. Yeah, Canadian. Tough. Sometimes trains up at the bodega with Thomas Peterson, Stephen Asplin, and Guzzi Hines. Like he sometimes
that would be down, but yeah, not up.
Oh yeah, down for him, up for me. But he cross trains. He cross trains with those guys sometimes. Lighter weight guy though, real fun to watch. Santos Verdinez is a guy whose jiu-jitsu I've always been really high on. He might even come as an underdog in his fight. Like Kelton Sneeve is going to be another like roll it in the parlay kind of guy. But Santos Verdinez, real fun jiu-jitsu. I've been real high on him. And he comes into the prelims here. Isaiah Gomez. Isaiah Gomez is another heavyweight who comes from training with Guzzi Hines and Asplin and Thomas Peterson. That's right. They got another heavyweight coming up. He had a really impressive amateur career. And he trains with those guys. So he's got like, I would say he's like Guzzi light right now. You know, like he's got a little bit more of his game than he's got Asplin's game, but like he's fun as hell too. And then the last one I'm going to take is Christina Brader. Christina Brader kind of came to MMA late. She's going to be on the Top Turtle MMA podcast this week. She talks about why. But she's 4-1. I think people have kind of written her off, despite the fact that she's 4-1. She should be 5-0. She definitely beat Contender Series Leslie Hernandez by split decision. Well, she lost it by split decision, but she should have won that fight to the point where the announcers were like, "That's crazy," you know, saying that. And then Hernandez got the Contender Series fight shortly thereafter. So, Brader, tough as hell, like real physical, just like a bruiser for that division. So once again, that's Brader, Gomez, Verdinez, and Sneeve as my 4 lightning round plays.
It sounds like a law firm. Do you expect any of them to be decent odds, or you expect big favorites for most of them?
I think you could possibly get dog or like close to even money odds on both Verdinez and Brader. Like I said, the books have kind of written Brader off, being that she's 4-1. I think she's got a pretty decent opponent here too. But like she has just been so tough and so good. So I wouldn't be surprised if either of them came in as dogs. I think Gomez, I mean, he's 0-0, but like people know who he is from the amateur scene already. So like would be surprised if you got something playable on him, but he could be a parlay piece. And then Steve, like, I mean, he's got a loss in there recently, and maybe that brings the number down a little bit, but he should be a big favorite too.
All right. You are all set now, ladies and gentlemen. We shall be discussing this and many other things in our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. I saw Venezi was being the sheriff in there the other day for us, so I appreciate that. Sheriff Venezi, there's a new name for you. Discord's a good place. So hop in there, assuming you're not a jerk. Hop on in, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. YouTube, of course. Maybe you're watching us right now on YouTube on your big, expensive TV for some reason. But anyhow, we're MMA Gambling Podcast there. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you, everyone, for continuing to get the numbers growing there for us. MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. SGPN MMA on Twitter. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer, at Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram as well. Hop into my Substack, check out my writing, enter my free UFC pick'em contest every week. MMA.substack.com. Gumby mentioned his other podcast, Top Turtle MMA. He's got Christina Brader, and who else is on it this week?
Steven Asplin before his Tuesday fight on Contender Series. So make sure you check that one out.
That's the video that I saw you post earlier.
Yeah, you can already get the video on.
You should watch.
So a lot of times when we do videos too, you can get the video. Actually, you can get it for the Brader interview too over on Cage Side Press's YouTube. They've got those up there now too. So if you like seeing my face, you can do that over there. And the audio form actually will probably be out right around the time that this drops. We're going to do an early show this week. We got a Sunday show for your Top Turtle. So you should get that one early.
Yeah, if you like seeing Gumby make people cry, then definitely check out the episode. So
he does cry. It's like a happy cry, though.
Yeah, Gumby's grilling him. He was grilling him and made him cry, but no. Good times for Steven Asplin. He's a good guy. Hopefully, things go well for him on Tuesday night. We'll be watching, and of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Remember, football at checkout will get you 25% off all of your MMA gambling podcast merch you bought there. And sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content. I can't get whose turn is it now?
I'll go.
You do it.
I got you. I'm Data Gumby Freeland. He's the Blood Axe, Jeff Fox. And we'll see you tomorrow.